Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the mecha at YouTube with another modelling video. Now I haven't done a video touching on my 3D printer for a little while, the whole 3D printer vlog. And even though I have not been doing too much since the finishing of my Grimoire kit, I've dabbled with a few very basic things and just continuing influencing my scale modelling and my hobby with this very interesting tool. So it's not settling idly. Another thing I've done, our model club Mecha Workshop also has a 3D printer, and its extruder head somehow got shattered. It's made out of some brittle plastic, and the former president came over. We bought some ABS and printed out a new one, which was very successful. We might have had 1-2 failed prints, but the rest of the 8 or 9 components came out beautifully, and that 3D printer is going ahead. So having friends with 3D printers is very helpful. If you don't, you definitely want spare parts on the go in storage. Though he did go shopping, 3D shops that did custom 3D printed parts were charging an exorbitant amount of money just to have those components done out, which was about 3 hours work and barely 30 grams of plastic, and they were asking for a lot more money than for an entire reel of 1 kilo of plastic. Online was a lot cheaper, but you've got the whole shipping fiasco, not very fun. But we managed to sort something out with my 3D printer. His 3D printer's online, and I can expect the same from that. But with this, we can see that my initial experiment that I desired from my 3D printer in enhancing my modelling is doing a couple of aftermarket parts to enhance a model kit, and terrain, lots of terrain, hardcore or more difficult components to make, which will take forever out of cutting in plastic or wood. A round base, building materials cut up and looking interesting, as well as the figure parts. So I am definitely counting that this 3D printer is a gigantic success. There is limitations I did not expect. I'm very happy to work around them, as I'm also drafting. And everything that this figure has that's 3D printed is all drafted by my hand. Also to note, and I'll note a few more times in this video, everything that has been drafted by my hand is put up on the Man's account on Thingaverse. I have mentioned before, Thingaverse is a search engine of 3D models that people either create or upload there, share, that's 3D printable or not 3D printable. All of mine has been printed before. It's an open license, so you can download, do whatever you want, profit, I don't care. But if you wanted to replicate some of these pieces on your own grimoire, you could almost actually copy it exact in the way of the gun, the backpack, and the diorama, if you were inclined or artistically talented to do so. So that's very interesting to check out, and I will put the link down below. Now, not remembering, or am remembering if I covered this in a previous video. If not, I'll just quickly cover it. The Edward Elric helmet on the left was completely printed in ABS, and in ABS I've also drafted using AutoCAD 3D this helmet stand, as they didn't come with anything sufficient to display it. I thought a helmet stand is a very classy way of displaying helmets, and I just did a half cutout of the layout of the stand and used a revolve command and printing it out very easily via the 3D printer. So the helmet is something I downloaded off Thingaverse and printed off. The stand was something that I've drafted. So model kits standalone by itself, or toys like this, was also a major success, and something that I'm very happy that I bought the 3D printer for. Though surface treatment on the actual helmet was required, and a video on that has been covered. Now, another thing that I've just thought up of is bases for models. Just a little base to make a small scene, just neaten up the model so it's just not standing on the bare table when it's going to presentations, competitions. When I do these very reviews and pictures spreading along online and whatnot, bases can make a model a lot tidier, and they're just so easy and quick to make. I've just made this very simple base, just a round cylinder, and extruded it up. The actual texture on it of the brickwork, I didn't feel like drawing, and actually sculpted it on as a one-off thing by cutting out pieces of styrene and PVA gluing them on. Once the resin model is built, this base will be painted up, the model will be painted up, and it will be somewhat soon seen on the Mecha YouTube channel, as well as photos on the Facebook page and throughout social networking. So just for very quick bases for every model, this is very handy. I've noticed, and which was an amazing idea, I'll try to get photos or at least the models at some point. A friend of mine has been making bases and racks for weapons and shields. So you've got a similar round base like this, some rack arms sticking up, and it just has a very neat way of displaying weapons that it's not currently holding, or shields that would be displayed around the Gundam itself. So again, if you're going to a competition, whatever, and if you want to paint up and build up every single weapon and shield for your model, it can all be displayed together without just having it laying around lazily, and it looked very, very slick, very, very professional. So that's another awesome aspect, and I hope to get those files fairly soon. Now, as you all know, I've got this pursuit of these mecha musume models that I custom built out of tank model kits, and these fairly cheap figures, either the small Gashapon figures, but I am slowly upgrading to the Sega prize figures, which are about 1/12. They stand approximately 15 to 20 centimeters in height, but generally all around the same circumference around the leg, and the same height from above the knee. Some of them slightly smaller or bigger, but you can generally do scaling. I thought I could make very ornate Mecha Musume striker unit legs, Cancoli or strike witches. Draw them up on AutoCAD, slice them up in many sections for easy painting, printing and assembly. Even a little bit of colour separation. And I've done so right here. It is a bit all over the place. I do apologise. But for the sake of printing up, because I've actually learned that I'm not a big fan of supports, and would rather slice something in 100 pieces than in one piece with a ton of supports. I've got the striker unit in 2 halves, which will glue together. It is all designed around the circumference of a leg that would rate from anywhere between 10 to 14 millimeters, or diameter I should say, which would stick onto the leg, which is the same diameter all the way through, with all sorts of extra detailing spreading out from both ends. So this set of legs are designed to look more like a Crusader World War II tank. We've got tracks that glue at the front, and feet. All of it fits together very, very interesting. Somewhat in the next few months, the model will be built, painted and reviewed. But I just want to show what I've drafted and printed off. This will also be on Thingaverse very, very shortly, as the print was very, very successful. So I'm still actively playing with 3D printer. It is a very slow journey, and there's also plans for my current Gunpla Builders World Cup project, which is going to be a largish diorama with more simplish models compared to last year. Is going to utilize a lot of 3D printing. I am comfortable enough that I can actually reliably hand this technology to such a vital project that I'm planning on working on this year. And even though this series has been quite quiet because I haven't made any major breakthroughs, I've learnt as much as I humanly can in working my printer without any major problems. All the clogging, maintenance, whatnot problems is all out of the way. Parts is not really wearing out. And calibration, I don't do that regularly. But as these parts have just literally been printed today, and this video will be posted up within 5 days of being filmed, that The alignment is not really out. The models actually look very crisp, very nice. This is a PLA print, and it still used the same open door, fan running in, fast print technique. All in all, thank you for watching. As I do more 3D printed models, I'll be building a model of a Star Destroyer soon from our club's printer, which is a Makerdoodle. And I'll put that together, paint it and display it, and this Mecha Musume kit will be built in due time, as well as I'll draft up something that would be more suitable for Gashapon scales. And of course, anyone is free to take my files and do as they please. That I'm interested with this Mecha Musume file going out. Anyone's really keen on having a crack and chucking that onto a 12th scale figure, which is also the same scale figure for the Beach Queen Wave toys, which there are tons of those out, and they look very pretty, and they'll be very ideal for this sort of thing. If you do it and modify it, because it's a very simple model, open for modifications, hell, I'll be doing the same. I would love to see a photo of it. It would be very cool to see someone else's take on something that I've drawn online. And hell, man, the Makana man is making his own model kits for other people to have a go. And the fact that I don't have to print and bag them and sell them, anyone can download the model and either pay someone to print it out or print it out for themselves. So keep an eye on my Thingaverse account. Gundam parts and this sort of stuff will be coming your way. Catch you guys later.